Welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto channel. Wishing you a happy daily start to this Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Happy hump day, baby. Anyways, plenty to discuss today as I wanted to talk about some major things on the higher term timeframes that are going to be occurring in the not so distant future, actually about 2 days from now at the end of the month. I believe that the last trading day of this month is indeed Friday. So it is a preparation for the very higher term timeframes. Lower term timeframes more or less unchanged. Obviously, you already know that because very little's happened in the last 72 hours or the last 3 or 4 days. Anyways, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. I want to start off right on over here with the big topic of today, and it is the 6-month time frame. So the 6-month time frame is going to be closing alongside the monthly in 2 days, or basically 3 days, or whenever Friday is essentially. and there's something of particular interest right here. So first and foremost, we do see that there is going to be potential for hidden bullish divergence on the 6-month RSI, where the 6-month RSI will also look like it will get back into the bullish control zone for the first time basically since middle of 2021. So why is this why is this important? What is essentially set for the tone for the next maybe 6 months to couple years to come? Well, upside buys to come, assuming that Bitcoin does confirm that hidden bullish divergence. Now, hidden bullish divergence will be confirmed assuming Bitcoin closes anywhere above the last 6-month high, which is 25,207.71 on the index chart right here. So far so good. Now we've all seen crazier things than like a $5,000 dumpola, over the course of 3 days, but. So, as of right now, looks pretty damn likely, I would say. So what essentially would that imply as far as price action goes? Well, it would imply that over the next, let's say 6 months to maybe a year and a half to 2 years, Bitcoin likely does, very likely does try for a new high on this rally. On the lower end, would be looking somewhere around the last major 6-month breakdown period, which was the upper 30, about 36 to 38,000 bucks. On the higher end, obviously, well, new highs would be kind of the call for that. But I think a more reasonable take would be where that last 6-month kind of opened over here before the overall reversal, which was your mid $44,000 territory. So those would be kind of the two, I would say, more reasonable areas of interest to the upside. Obviously, 38,000 bucks is, or 38,000 bucks is around that last CME gap from May 2022. So kind of natural interest right there. And if we were to throw on, an inverted fib here as well, I imagine that we probably would see, a lot of these areas also marked off. And what do you know, 618 coming in around that upper 30s region, and actually nothing in the low 40s to be fair. But as of right now, yeah, that would be kind of the general trajectory that I'd be looking for, over the next 6 months on the lower end, obviously, probably more reasonably put at around a year and a half. Something like that, if Bitcoin's going to play out that move. So what would essentially invalidate that? Again, Friday closing below 25,200. And also I do want to say that while hidden bullish evidence is very likely to be confirmed here, does not mean that Bitcoin can't pull back to open up the next 6-month period and even test, somewhere down around there. I mean, that wouldn't necessarily invalidate this. So my point is that, this is a very high term time frame look. Obviously, a 6-month chart doesn't close, all that often, being that it's a 6-month time frame. But ultimately, would be suggestive that we do see this rally continue on into the deeper $30,000 territory, maybe in this next, sometime before end of year, most likely. And then if there's going to be major continuation upon that, then, we'll come back, at a later date. Anyway, so what else did I want to say while we're on this particular video? Probably want to make this one a little bit more on the shorter side. I guess we can quickly go over to this as well. This is of interest right here. And on the 5-day time frame for CME, we actually did see something of significant interest where the 5-day time frame has confirmed this silver cross, where the yellow 21 exponential moving average is crossing the upside of the green 55 right there. We haven't really seen too many of these crosses on CME. Now we've seen several of them, many of them over the full history of Bitcoin over here, obviously. I think I marked off a lot of them with the red circles, but you can get the idea going all the way back to the Genesis, starting off well back, more than 10 years ago, the lower period crossing to the upside of the, of the higher period, like we see right here, did kind of spin off this last major, or not this last major run, but one of the earliest major runs where Bitcoin went from, about $5 all the way to, well, actually, ultimately about over $1,000, which is rather nice. And then, of course, when it happened again in 2015, that did spin off the next run where Bitcoin went from, essentially 320 to $20,000 was the high of that run. And then again, we saw something similar over here in 2019. Now this one was certainly not as impressive, but not bad nonetheless, as it did essentially get the price action from about 6,500 all the way up to just shy of 14,000. And then we saw the same thing again coming off the Rona dump over here, and perhaps even the same thing happening over here. So with that in mind, or let me go back to CME. With that in mind, that does suggest that, again, in the more near term, short-term downside moves are likely to get picked up. I still kind of stick with my major area of $29,000. If Bitcoin starts to violate $29,000, that's where things start to become a little bit more questionable. But until then, anywhere between 29 to 29,500 is, kind of where I'd be looking for on a pullback. Speaking of pullbacks, looking at the 4-hour HPDR indicator over here, it's the same thing as before, essentially. The bottom side of the current 50% range lows is coming in about 29.5, 29.6 now. Top side coming in around 31.2. Yes, we did get the gap fill from yesterday, all the way up on that move just north of $31,000. But nothing really happened off the back of that. Obviously, sold off as you would expect, and Bitcoin continues on with the overall sideways range. Maybe we can go down to an hourly time frame range and see if there's anything, of particular interest right here. Maybe a 2 hour is going to be better in this particular instance. I'd imagine it might give a little bit of a cleaner look, but it's also going to take a fucking shit ton time to load as usual. Let's see if we can actually get this. Yeah, there we go. So short-term range lows. If I'm looking at a lower-term time frame like this, $30,000 basically. Below there, I would be looking for that continuation somewhere around 29.5, maybe even as low as $29,000. But that's essentially where I'd be looking for, for price action to get picked back on up. And similar to the 4-hour time frame, the 2-hour time frame does suggest that Bitcoin will confirm a breakout, above about 31,200 on a closing basis. Would really want to see like a 4-hour close above there. But, for right now, again, it's the same thing as before. Sideways benefits the BULAs, sets the higher term timeframes in place, while the lower term timeframes continue to reset. Speaking of resetting, we can go back on over here and reference stochastic momentum, starting off with the hourly time frame. Hourly time frame is probably going to be headed down right now, actually, and will be remaining with downside pressure as long as Bitcoin is below 30,400, which it's right now kind of teeter-tottering around. Do keep in mind it's getting into the critical zone right there. 4-hour time frame is going to be flippy-floppy here. Looks like it might turn down again within the bearish control zone. In fact, I think it probably does. You probably see something like this and then maybe levels off. So, what does that mean in the more near term? It probably means that we're going to be looking at some more sideways and maybe another downside attempt. Will officially turn back down below 30,400, but you can see that volatility has fully contracted here. So I would be looking for that to kind of continue a little bit more. 6-hour time frame, same thing. 30,700 going to be the magical number. 12-hour time frame, fresh down below 31,250. And once we get to the daily, that one's actually going to turn down below 31. And then we get to the 2-day, still vertical above 26. 5-day, up above 29. So on and so forth. So what I'd be saying about that is, again, in the more near term, Bitcoin more likely to go sideways here. Probably, maybe we see another downside attempt, like legitimate downside attempt. I do think for Bitcoin, if it does break the $30,000 region, somewhere between 29.5 to 29 even, and that's what I'd be looking for on a higher low. Below 29, problems start to emerge actually, and I'll start to be looking at this potential like major trap. But until then, so all good. Anyways, I think that's a good place for me to be leaving off. As always, nice and short and sweet on this lovely Tuesday or Thursday or Wednesday, actually. I don't even know what day it is. Doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter, because soon enough, we're going to be in a new month of new opportunities, July, with a whole new 6-month time frame. So with that said, as always, wish you the best of the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Thursday.